Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation, comparing the evolution of cryptocurrencies and precious metals. Let's explore. I'm going to be showing you a series of visualizations from Visual Capitalist on cryptocurrencies and how they have evolved and changed over the years, now both in terms of technology and regulation. We're going to do the same, but in a little different way with precious metals, and how the two worlds can come together in some ways, but also how they are very different as well. So let's take a look at this, and with this first visualization that shows the cryptocurrency ecosystem, to get a better understanding of how cryptocurrencies are, categorized and utilized in the world. So in the past decade, cryptocurrencies have exploded into the world stage. Make no mistake, it has been quite a revolution for sure. It sparked cryptocurrencies have grown exponentially since 2009. So there's it's essentially as defined, it's a digital asset designed as a medium of exchange. That is the rawest definition. However, as the term implies, there is some security with the cryptic nature of the blockchain or whatever it is that's behind the medium of exchange in the digital asset. So as of October of 2019, there are over 3,000 cryptocurrencies that were active worldwide, which is up from roughly 1,600 in 2018. In fact, I remember around that time, maybe a little bit after, we had talked about and showed the various different numbers of cryptocurrencies out there. In fact, I was approached by a member of this community to help create a Salivate coin. That's right, an ICO with the Salivate coin. And that, from the time that was initially offered to the second time that I kind of inquired about it, was mainly for fun. The cost to do so was pretty expensive, but it just goes to show you how widely distributed these cryptocurrencies are, and how really anybody could get in and create their own cryptocurrency. And so you can see here that each coin here in this visualization represents about 100 active cryptocurrencies. So it really is something else, and this sums it up. The new cryptocurrency economy is evolving. Now, today, cryptos offer solutions to meet complex needs of modern financial markets. And so why are cryptocurrencies important for the future of digital finance? Well, for now, they are censorship-free, at least in some cases. I do somewhat disagree with that. We will actually explore some of this momentarily. But that's saying here that it prevents governments or major institutions from blocking financial activities at whim. They are borderless, drastically reduces processing times due to no cross-border restrictions. They are accessible. It reduces or eliminates traditional barriers to capital markets. They have great security, prevents fraudulent alterations from third parties. That, I believe, is in question. And there are some people who are diehard behind this, and they say there's no way that it can be hacked or whatever with the blockchain because of the very nature of the cryptic algorithms involved and with the ledger of the blockchain technology, or even what could potentially replace it, hash graph or something else down the line. That's just an evolution of technology can there, but also so can threats to it can evolve as rapidly. In some cases, maybe even more so. Lower costs, lower transaction fees, thanks to fewer third parties. And that could change too, but, it depends on how it evolves down the road. Greater financial control. Individuals can have total control of their funds. Yes, but they're still at the whim of the markets. But it is interesting, and I do think that a lot of this can be instantaneous or very quick compared to the traditional aspects. Certainly, cryptocurrencies have revolutionized the monetary system. Much like the internet has forever altered how we live and work, cryptocurrencies have the potential to change how people participate in global financial markets. I do agree with that. So what's the latest generation of cryptocurrency is capable of? So the new crypto economy is as follows here. Cryptocurrencies go beyond replacing cash. It's an entire ecosystem that offers unique solutions in finance, security, identification, and ownership. And so they're generally categorized by these primary applications here. Payments, and that's the most important thing, hence the currency. Access digital cash for both e-commerce and brick-and-mortar retailers. And here's some examples here. To store of value, currencies and networks use a new form of scarce native currency as a means of settlement, such as Bitcoin and Litecoin. And it can be programmable money. Customizable computer code can be designed for specific financial rules and uses, such as Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. And then there's these stable coins. You're learning a lot here with the different aspects of this. Crypto version of fiat currencies tied to the value of an external resource like the US dollar or gold for stability. And so that is something that I think is potential. I heard this thing was called FedCoin, but True USD, DAI, and Paxos, there's something to that. I think this is something, stable coins is something that probably will be the future, if it's tied to another resource. And in fact, I believe in due course, when we see the reset of the dollar, which I do believe is coming, we will see it reset based off of some of these stable coin aspects here. Privacy. Private digital transactions, as some cryptos offer anonymity. And there you go, such as Monero, Verge, and Zcash. In fact, I know some people were saying how Monero is probably one of the most secure out there, for private transactions, and it's very stable in that regards. But we shall see in due course. Digital ownership, reframing how we handle, store, and monetize data. And there's some examples there. Some of the decentralized utilities, such as crypto-enabled networks, products and services capable of exchanging between assets issued on the networks. So there's a decentralized internet with Ethereum, smart contracts, self-executing customizable contracts, other crypto services, Namecoin and Factom. And it kind of makes you wonder if it's networks and things like that. It reminds me of Steemit and other things such as BitChute or other types of applications out there that are run and monetized through these exchanges here. So there's another alternative finance category here that we have crypto assets such as collectible commodities and tokenization of securities. The non-fungible collectible commodities such as crypto kitties as an example. In other words, this could be things like tied to games or some sort of avatars or things that you buy for applications, emoticons, emojis, that type of thing. Securities, tokens representing corporate shares, real estate, whiskey futures, etc., or commodities. Cryptos backed by commodities such as silver dimes. Interesting. So, that goes back to seeing how you can make that tie-in with precious metals. And I think that is something fascinating to see. And it's becoming more and more commonplace to see this technology emerge and tie it in with things like silver and gold. In this emerging ecosystem, how are cryptocurrencies related to one another? So here is a very interesting infographic showing the taxonomy of cryptocurrencies. So you have these different categories from this wheel that expands from a central core here from an alternative finance, which is the broadest category, and how it goes from decentralized utilities, digital ownership, privacy, stable coins, which I think that's sort of the middle of the wheel here. I think that is the thing where you're going to want to pay attention for the future, especially in a dollar reset, programmable money, a store of value, and payments. And the store of value, I think, is quite interesting because that is something that people, places like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, they serve those roles as people look at those types of cryptocurrencies as investments. And then obviously the most important thing is fungibility in the term of payments for these different major coins out here. Look at this. We have Cura Coin, we've got Dash, we've got Endor, Einsteinium, Digital Note, Raven Coin, Radium, Neo, Mercury, Metal, Monocoin, Monero, Golem, Goldcoin, Geocoin, Flow. Crazy. Look at all these. And so the ones that are on the outside here, the forms of payments, but you see here like game credits is one that's in this category, the second category, which is decentralized utilities. A lot of that is pretty amazing to see how these things are branched out or categorized in this method here. Very fascinating indeed. And a lot of it shows how complex this is. So because cryptocurrencies are dynamic, code-based applications that can be designated or designed to tackle many different challenges here. Smart contracts, decentralized utilities, landlords can send self-executing contracts to new tenants, specifying conditions such as credit check and security deposit be submitted before move-in date. Retail and e-commerce payments, store of value apps such as Speedin auto-convert crypto to fiat directly from merchants to reduce exchange rate risk while offering convenient payment options for customers. And then in the construction industry, we can see digital construction platform Builderium is connecting contractors, workers, and clients on deals around the world, opening up global markets through blockchain technology. So that is the future. Certainly the technology behind these cryptos, the blockchain technology or hash graph or whatever it's going to evolve into, I think is the future. It is something we're seeing utilized more and more each day. We've got cross-border remittances, programmable money. So with the stable coins, migrant workers sending their families abroad can significantly reduce conversion fees by sending US dollar-backed stable coins and avoid losing money when converting them to fiat currency. Then for electric vehicles, Cycling is launching a blockchain-enabled electric vehicle fleet that would mine crypto as users travel, reducing carbon emissions and rewarding people for doing so. That's kind of an interesting concept. Then in securities and real estate, the digital ownership aspect of it is with alternative finance. Slice is making real estate investing open to anyone through tokens and fractional investment with minimums as low as $10,000. See, these are just some of the ways cryptocurrencies help them break down barriers, especially in terms of the markets, investing, and contracts, and that type of thing. And so this is a kind of a new, great thing, but that's basically the technology behind the cryptos with some utilization of cryptos or the categorizations there. So how will the economy be affected with the growth of cryptos in it? Worldwide, the numbers show the blockchain-based technology and cryptocurrency use is growing. So just from Statistica, they have 8.9 million users as of September 2016, 42.3 million users as of September 2009. Quite a big explosion of users out there of cryptocurrency. And here's a number of decentralized apps. So an open source decentralized computer application that runs on blockchain network and rewards users for validating blocks of data with no third parties required from 100 in 2015 to 3,127 in 2019. Recent data also suggest the mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies and tokens may be imminent. So 63% see cryptos as an easy payment method, 82% willing to use tokens for loyalty reward programs, 78% willing to use crypto from companies they already know. All generations are looking forward to the future, and I think that it's inevitable, and I think it's a good thing too, by the way, especially the technology behind cryptocurrencies. Percentage of positive views on the future of crypto by generation. So we see here that Generation Z obviously would make the most sense, that they're utilizing it a lot more. I think in due course we're going to see even the baby boomer generation move upward in this, because it's just going to be implemented almost seamlessly for a lot of transactions out there. They're helping to create an innovative and accessible financial system around the world. Cryptocurrencies deserve an opportunity to find a sustainable future in our economy, and I do agree with that for sure. And so that is kind of an outlook of the ecosystem. I think it's important to go over that to see how complex it is, number one, but also how integrated it is and will be and unavoidable. With that being said, let's take a look here about negatives. Well, before we get into the regulations around the world, let's take a look at the complexities of just the Bitcoin forks. And this is quite telling, because this is talking about a specific cryptocurrency, the most popular one, Bitcoin. And you see that forking that's going on here, as it does with mining, and as it gets to a point where it starts essentially a new cryptocurrency based off of the old, with a better blockchain technology. That's kind of what happens essentially with forking. And so you have a regular blockchain forks that have occurred, but then you have these soft forks and hard forks. And, I don't quite understand the complexities behind it, but I think it is in relation to the blockchain technology and the efficiency thereof and the evolution of that technology behind it. So you have original Bitcoin with regular blockchain forks that occur, I guess, when transactions, you get enough of them, whatever, and it splits off. That's a very simplified explanation of it. But then you have a soft fork and then a hard fork. And then, of course, this is disputed here. And then there's Bitcoin knots and the Litecoin. And then you have an unintentional blockchain fork. So that's kind of fascinating to see that kind of stuff happen as the cryptocurrency has evolved. And then a first MASF, which I don't know what that is, and then a BIP 148 client, then a Bitcoin ABC. Bitcoin ABC forks away from Bitcoin to establish a new coin, Bitcoin Cash. And then Bitcoin Classic, and then you can see here, all this stuff is just branching out here. Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin Diamonds, and dozens of fork coins. And then Bitcoin Core SQ. And then you have the SegWit 2X, and then it failed at launch. And then Bitcoin Dark, no idea what that is. That's out there in the dark web. Who knows? I don't know. Transactions in the dark web? Could be. Bitcoin Gold, Diamond, and Fork. Those are those. And then here's Bitcoin down here. Bitcoin Core, not to be confused with a Bitcoin implementation with the same name. Bitcoin Cash, ABC. Bitcoin SV. There you have it. It is crazy indeed. It is crazy how this can happen, and how complex it can be. And so if you have money in this as a store of value, what do you do when it forks? And I think that this kind of thing could potentially mean that Bitcoin itself could be the new MySpace of cryptocurrencies, which means MySpace essentially has died off and replaced with Facebook as a social media platform. Well, could the same thing happen with Bitcoin down the road? I don't know. It's an uncharted territory, but with over 3,000 coins out there, it makes you wonder. So that is sort of a drawback to this in terms of how that happens based off the complexity. Then you look at regulations around the world, once something is digitized, not only is there the fear of it being hacked, which I know some people say it's unhackable, what have you, but never say never. And also in terms of regulations, if something is out there and a transaction is, even though it's cryptic and secure, there's other ways to tell if some transactions are taking place illegally, especially with digital forensics out there and that kind of technology, which will also evolve along with this to enforce these regulations. This is the regulations around the world of cryptocurrencies. And this is another aspect of them for use of payment and especially when they can be tracked by governments and regulated by governments, such as Canada here, which is going to have some upcoming legislation, and they have ICOs and exchanges already regulated. Here in the U.S., there is some gray area with the exchanges and ICOs, but there is some upcoming legislation coming. Some of the most hardened the tight regulations are in China here, where they're basically very limited, but it basically has the same status here as the United States, but they're regulating it much more hardcore, critically. And then other examples here, you can just see the map here of the different styles and regulations that are out there. Lithuania has got crypto exchanges regulated, ICOs, and more upcoming legislation. So this is an example of where we are going with cryptocurrencies. Now, spend a lot of time on that because it's very complex. Now, make no mistake, gold and silver, they have evolved as well too over the years, but mainly in how they are minted and the varieties of different coins and bars and rounds that are out there. You can see in this photograph, you see different examples of silver, and there is some silver and gold there that we see as well. And, but make no mistake, silver and gold have evolved over the years in the technology used to mint them, and also the technology used to exchange them. As we alluded to earlier, gold and silver can be digitized or utilized in digital transactions as ETFs, as futures, and as digital currencies. In other words, even cryptocurrencies backed by silver and gold. We've seen cases where even precious metal dealers out there have digital exchanges where you can buy fractions of an ounce or fractions of a gram even of gold, utilizing cryptocurrencies. So in other words, you go into a major dealer and you buy their digital version of gold or silver, and we use gold as an example because of how it can be divided up to visibility beyond the physical limitations, such as grams. So let's say you wanted to buy, a tenth of a gram of gold, pure gold. You would do it in a digital form, and let's say you want to buy that in terms, and then when you want to cash it out, you just pick whatever it is from their inventory, and you have your gold there. And it can be cashed out in an actual physical piece of gold. I think that's kind of fascinating and cool technology. But there's one saying that we're all very familiar with. People are shouting it from the rooftops. I'm sure listening to this video is you don't hold it until you own it. And that is the thing that has not changed for millennia with gold and silver. The actual physical versions of these precious metals are what they are. They are defined in and of themselves, based off the different styles, whether it be a bar, whether it be a coin or a round. The content of the precious metal is defined of itself as intrinsic value, which is not really there in cryptocurrencies. The intrinsic value is loosely defined by the amount of energy it takes to create a coin, or what have you, with the technology to mine. But that changes, and it can go to zero depending on if a coin succeeds or fails. But with precious metals, their intrinsic value has been constant throughout the ages. And that is something that has not and will not change no matter what. I find that fascinating with gold and silver. And no matter the technology, no matter what happens, gold and silver will continue to be what they have always been, a store of value, and they are something that is a rock solid foundation that transcends and has many of the same characteristics: decentralization, recognized as a store of value. And I believe they will be increasingly used more and more in terms of fungibility. In other words, being able to exchange it for goods and services. In some cases, some people are doing it right now, even in areas where it's not legal, quote, or blessed by state governments or local governments or what have you, where you can take the precious metals themselves and trade them for goods and services. If somebody understands the value of silver and gold, well, they will gladly take exchange for goods and services one of these coins or metals there. So very fascinating indeed. And the evolution of gold and silver essentially has only changed in so much of how they are distributed and how they are backed, or how they back technology. Gold and silver backed cryptos, I think, are the future. It's just a matter of finding the right one and how to make it work for you. The technology behind cryptocurrencies, the blockchain technology, or hashgraph, or whatever it's going to be, or whatever it will evolve into, I believe it's something that is the future for even gold and silver. But as we go through and we come to realize it all boils down to what I prefer, and I think that is important for even for those of you who are crypto fans or users of crypto and maybe have not considered gold and silver, I believe it is wise for everybody to hold some physical silver and some physical gold. That's right. Because of the ever-changing technology, gold and silver are the one thing that can remain constant and is a constant store of value. So holding precious metals is the ultimate solution to protecting yourself, preserving your wealth, and to free you from regulation. Yes, I have talked about in a recent video how buying and selling precious metals can be regulated, but once you have them in your possession, even if the amount is tracked, the purchase is tracked, they are yours. And how you deal with them in your possession can be very difficult for governments to control. If you sell them to a private, to another private party or what have you, they don't have to know about that. In many cases, they don't. It's very hard to really kind of track that unless you're utilizing a cryptocurrency. If you're doing it for just straight cash, it's a different story. But that's the kind of the thing that where the future and technology is going. So that's why it's good, I believe, to hold physical precious metals. As technology and time evolves, they always are here to protect us. So very interesting and fascinating subject indeed. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to all of you for taking the time to watch. And I would like to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.